it's really hard for me to write this, man. I said some things I ain't never said before.
It's funny, I had never ever heard spoken word before in my life. I'd heard poetry, I've written poetry, literally written poetry all my life since I was little. I had a cousin do a spoken word piece one Christmas, and just the flow of the rhythm behind how the words came together, I thought it was awesome. And so I started trying to write spoken word. And the second spoken word piece I wrote was this one called Sin. And the way I wrote it, it started in the middle. And I write a little in the front, write a little in the back, a little in the front, a little in the back. But it came together to be.
This piece is called Sin. Now I'm not gonna lie, deny, and try to act so high and mighty that you can't feel me. Sin is fun. Let's keep it real, see? When you feed your flesh through lust, it makes your body feel like it must have some more of that good stuff. Whether it's sex or weed or a bottle of gin or the earrings you stole last weekend.
Every time anybody has an encounter with that spoken word piece, they absolutely see the movie.
Say goodbyes. I want to have everything. Now look what I got. My marriage is gone. My family is shot. Ashes to ashes and dust to dust. Then I lose my job because I can't focus. There's a 38 snub sitting on the nightstand. Next thing I know, it's in my hand. And then one final thought as I bring it all to an end of my family and my life destroyed by
But
sin.
it came together to be this spoken word piece about a man who is the process of him entering into sin, an adulterous affair, everything falling apart, his life falling apart, and then at the end he commits suicide. And it was entitled Sin. It was about the thought processing that leads you into sin.
Carlus and I met each other years ago, and he began working with me on several different stage plays that I was writing and producing at the time. So when he approached me about the idea of actually doing a movie, I knew it took a lot because this was his baby, his first actual film that he was actually doing himself. So when he approached me about it, I knew he was serious.
And I sat down, we talked about where it was at that time and started revamping it, started just creating a storyline that was in line with the spoken word, but gave it just new depths, created something that wasn't just creative, but it was intriguing, it was exciting, so we took it to a whole nother level.
Pretend I'm your preacher and you're my congregation, because I want to give you an illustration that I pray will bring you revelation.
I'm not the type of person that likes to gravitate to people who like to talk a lot. I like to gravitate to people who are doing something about what they're talking about. And he began writing. And when he approached me about the project, he had already written some things. And I saw how serious he was. And that intrigued me. And I got involved, and we saw each other's strengths and weaknesses, which made it work. He recognized my strengths and he celebrated them. I recognized his strengths and I celebrated them. And as a result, we began to work this process out.
In 2004, we had begun that process. We were ready. What we initially said we would do was take the full-length feature, and we took out the story and made a short. And the whole purpose of the short film would be to hit the film festivals, the short film festivals, and to submit it, to get inquiries, to let people know what we were doing, what we were capable of doing. Because the short that we had started shooting at that time, the quality was outstanding. Between the end of 2004 and throughout 2005, that footage literally sat dormant. It wasn't touched. The director, Darnell, picked up the footage of probably around, August or September of 2005. 2005, and he was doing a demo for his company, Clefworks Entertainment, and he's done this project, but it hasn't been touched. So he started creating a demo using that footage, and the boy stumbled up on something. Came to my house in October of 2005 and was like, I gotta show you this, I gotta show you this. I had just moved, all my stuff was still in boxes, the TV was on the side, I had to go find a DVD player. The DVD player that I found wasn't working good, so we stuck it in there. It was in lines, you barely could see it. And I had a fit though, because for the first time I saw something that we had put blood, sweat, and tears. I saw it come to life.
What we did, and it was challenging and time consuming, we had the actors to actually run the entire scene and position the camera and the lights for each actor for their close-ups and for their wide shots. So we actually were adjusting lights, adjusting the boom, adjusting the lavaliers, whatever audio we were using, and adjusting that one camera to capture everything.
What really blew me was the one camera thing. I mean, that really took me for a loop when he told me that. It was hard for me to believe, but after talking with him, I could see how real that was, and the amount of takes that he took, to make it seem like it was multiple cameras was just amazing.
Take speed. Action.
Uncle Calvin. Uncle Calvin. Hey. Hey, you home?
Amen. Okay, y'all kids gone in the other room.
Well, that Reverend Anderson, know he sure preached today. He brought that word strong.
Really?
Yes, indeed he did.
I couldn't hear him too good because you was snoring and going on like a wild boy.
You know that medicine I'm taking make me sleepy sometimes.
No. Maybe it was a shot of that liquor you had right after Sunday school. Johnny, you ought to smell his breath. Get this drunk as Cooter Brown.
Well, I ought to take these tongues and go straight upside the back of you. My breath smell like looking at you.
We did an excellent job with casting these people. They're just phenomenal. I mean, when we saw Cynthia for the first time, I mean, we were, okay, yeah, that's Priscilla right there. That's her. Same thing with Monique, with Jocelyn. It's like, yeah, that's Clay's wife right there. So it didn't take long to pick those people.
God forbid I would want to have a say-so in my marriage.
You can keep all that drama. Ever since you've known me, I've talked about opening my own club. All I needed was the money. And the funny thing is, you never said one negative thing about it. Well, I've got the money now. And I don't need your permission or anybody else's.
And that's that?
Yeah, that's that.
People who played a lot of character actors as well. Stan Davis played Uncle Calvin, and a young man who's playing an older gentleman. He did an awesome job. Janice Copeland, who played Aunt May, another young lady who played an older lady, and she did an awesome job as well.
Because that was the same year that Casablanca came out with Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman.
It was 47.
Oh, talking to you is the worst time.
With Kurt, we actually had another character playing Kurt, but because of certain circumstances, we ended up putting someone else in that role, and it really worked out. The person who we have in that role now is Donovan Yarbrough, and he is very good. He did a very good job with that role, and we were really blessed to have him in that role as well.
15 years of being your boy, holding you down when nobody else was there. I'm the one who took you out of state when you was running from the police. That's what I'm bringing to the table.
Jasmine, who played the character Danielle, and she did an awesome job. That young lady is just awesome. She played that role. We were able to come up with different scenes that weren't even written in the script because she was so good. So.
Because I thought Daddy was coming with us today to finish the house.
He probably just got up late. I'm sure he didn't mean to.
Is he mad at me?
Darlene Hall Darlene Hall played Clay's mother. I knew Darlene from way back. We had done some productions together as well. And when we wrote this movie, we wrote in Darlene. I mean, Darlene was a no-brainer for this movie.
But you listen to me. Your daddy loved you. And as far as he was concerned, what happened was nothing more than water under the bridge.
Terrence, who played Larry.
Big Mike, what's up, baby? How you doing, man? Hey, yo, listen, man, I didn't mean to interrupt you while you're eating, but just fries, man. Oh, no, I'm good.
The thing I would like for people to get out of this film would be a lesson learned that whether you're, you know, no matter what your religion is or, you know, who you are as a person, morally, there are things that, you know, we know that are right.
To really be successful in life, regardless of where you are in life, you need your family, and communication is a very important key. I think that as you're watching the movie and you see Clay in a different situation he puts himself in, actually, if he had communicated in the beginning, a lot of things would have been eliminated.
In this film, we see a lot of him, the main character, Clay, just losing sight of what's important, you know. And once you lose sight of what's important, you lose ground, you lose your footing, you lose your foundation. So I really want people to see that in this film, that if you lose your foundation, which is your relationship with God and your relationship with your family members, then you have no foundation anymore. And I really want people to think about that and think about how it's easy to fall into certain situations, certain things, if you don't continue to keep those things in line and keep those things first. So I really want people to get that out of the film.
Relationships just don't go bad, you know, and that's what intrigued me about this movie. It just didn't happen. He just didn't fall into adultery. You know, it happened because he let a thought linger, and as a result, the thought became a manifestation, and there you have it.
Yo, baby, I did it. 10 years later, they still pumping it. Chip. Yo, Uncle Ray Ray, I did it, man. Classic. Woo. I'm finally here to do it God's way. Come on, yeah. From the pen to the paper, pencils, no erasers. This was years in the making, rhyming to get my cake up, shining like the diamonds in the Jacob. Perfecting my flow till my goals came easy like a layup. When me and Kay departed, I told my homie to stay up. We chose different routes, we keeping each other prayed up. The love west cold, cats is getting sprayed up. The rap game is phony, full of gangsters that's made up. Was told that my chances were slim like a razor, but little did they know I was called to be greater. I lived in Decatur, now I stay in College Park, right down the street from the church where I'm taught. On the same block where them guns might spark, while I seen bums pushing their clothes in Kroger carts. It definitely hurts the heart to see families torn apart. That's why I gotta play my part.